Do you nourish after you train? And if you do you do it to the point where you're kind of like, okay, I'm mostly full or I'm full? Are you trying to like really nourish yourself, or do you find that eating slows you down?
I find that eating slows me down. And I would say, again, it's weird how some of this stuff is. Like, the main reason I got in the habit of waking up early and working out is because if you do it before anyone else is awake, then they can't bother you and you can get stuff done, right? You go to the SEAL team and you get there before anyone else is there. No one can say, hey, can you help us with this? Hey, no one sent you an email. So you get that time, you get it done, and it's yours, right? I remember when you were on my podcast, and I don't wear sunglasses when I run in the morning because I sweat and it fills my sunglasses. It's not because I want to let the UV light into my eyes. That's not
cortisol boost.
Right. It's not for the cortisol. I didn't know that. It's cool that I know it now. But I just did it because I don't like sweat in my sunglasses, can't see, so I just run without them and put a hat on. As far as eating, I don't like to do physically active things with food in my stomach. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, me either.
And so I don't want to, and what really keeps that in line for me is I'm doing jiu-jitsu in the afternoon. And so if I'm eating a big lunch, by the time the afternoon rolls around, I'm kind of, I got food in my gut and I just don't like that feeling. So no, I don't eat a big meal until I'm kind of done with the physical stuff for the day, which is usually at night, 6, 7 o'clock at night, which I guess there's some bad things about that. I eat too late.
Well, the data say, if you're, we could go down a rabbit hole with this, and then someone's going to pull up some little clinical study and then another one that counters that. I mean, I think the data essentially say that having a regular meal schedule that allows you to sleep well at night, whatever that means for you, and that allows you to be active and focused when you need to be active and focused, that's the ideal schedule.
When I'm working with clients, so I have a leadership consulting company, Echelon Front. When I'm going to work with a client, I'm not eating. Because they're going to be asking me questions. We're going to be diving into what's happening inside their business. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of cognitive work. So I'm not eating before a podcast. I'm not eating before a podcast. Before I'm recording a podcast, I'm not eating because I don't want to have a bunch of food in my stomach. I want to, you get a certain level of mental clarity when you haven't eaten a bunch of food. So going out on missions, I never would eat before I go out on a mission. I would eat when I come home. You get home 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning from doing operation. Cool. Then I'll eat. Because then I'm gonna do a debrief for 15 minutes, clean weapons, and then eat a big meal, go to sleep. Cool. Yeah, I don't want to have food in my stomach when I've got to perform or execute anything. Yeah. So again, I think that's just kind of a fluke that I ended up living like that, but that's kind of how I live.
I know in the SEAL teams, there's a lot of discussion about hydration as important. Even though you guys, I know, are supposed to be able to like eat sand and survive on sunlight and dirt and like drink your own blood. It's hydration's taken seriously, right? Yeah,
and different people need different amount of hydration. Mm-hmm. And I unfortunately I always needed to bring a lot of water in the field, which sucked because water's heavy. And I have friends, one of my friends, Tony, BTF Tony, he'd go in the field with like a can of Copenhagen and coffee in his canteen and go like 3 straight days.
He's like a desert turtle.
He's a desert rat, man. Yeah. He could just survive.
Yep.
And I would always have to bring a ton of water. And I sweat a ton when I work out or when I'm doing anything that requires physical output. I sweat a ton. So I have to drink a lot of water for sure. But not everyone's the same,